Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Michael Mandy and he is Rowdy Jeff.
And this week we are debating the new remake of Halloween by Rob Zombie, starring Sherry Moon Zombie, believe it or not. I mean, you can't have a Rob Zombie movie without Sherry Moon, right?
Or Brad Dourif, or how many other people that have been in his...
It was nice to see Sid in there too, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And this was done in 2007, and... what do you think, Mike?
I think this was probably the most anticipated remake of history.
Yes, in forever. And, the honest truth is I believed in this project from the beginning. I thought it was going to be a really solid project. I thought Zombie was the right guy to get on the case if we were going to do a remake. I know a lot of people thought just the opposite from watching House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. But
well, House of a Thousand Corpses was pretty much a remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And a bunch of other things, too, But the honest truth is, I was behind this thing. I wanted to see it updated. I got tired of everybody saying, yeah, but once it got to Halloween 5 and Halloween 6, with the supernatural take and all that.
Stupid. That was stupid.
Then we kind of lost focus, and I really wanted to get the focus back on the character, back on the main story, and I thought this was a good time to do this.
Well, the world is remake crazy right now.
It certainly is.
So,
it certainly is. But in this case, Mike, I got to tell you, I honestly think he did a fantastic job.
Basic rundown the plot.
Well, the plot is the same basically as the original movie, which is, of course, Michael Myers growing up in the Myers house with his family. Abuse going on. Of course, you don't see that in the original movie.
In the original,
you see it in this movie, and his wonderful parents. I mean, you couldn't. I couldn't imagine how a kid could get screwed up in that house, Mike. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Well, you see, that was I'll give Zombie points for taking us inside the house and showing us more of the house. I mean, really, the remake, the first Halloween movie doesn't kick in until this movie's halfway done at the 45-minute mark.
That's right.
That's finally when we meet Laurie Strode and they walk home from school and, he wears the mask and all that stuff.
That's right.
Because there's all this backstory. Now...
But wait a minute. You're saying that that's a bad thing.
I think it was a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
I think it was.
No, absolutely not.
The reason why was because in the first movie, the focus was on the girls and the character, and this kid was normal in every sense of the word, and just something snapped.
No, but you didn't get that. You didn't really get that.
I did get that.
Well, you got that.
I got that.
Okay.
Look at Mom and Dad at the beginning of the film. Michael, what's the matter? They've got a nice car. Mom and Dad are wearing a suit. The kid's got a really cool-looking clown costume. The house is normal. It's, I think Rob Zombie had a point to make every person in this movie look as skanky and hairy and smelly as he looks.
Well, the honest truth is, Mike...
And they did.
I enjoyed having the backstory.
This movie
they picked the perfect child to do this role. Okay,
that kid looked like he should have been Meatloaf's kid.
That kid,
not Sherry
he did kind of
Moon's
look like
kid.
Meatloaf, actually, a little bit.
He should have been Sherry Moon's kid.
But
I looked at that little round kid.
That kid did a fantastic job, portrayed the evilness extremely well. I'll tell you what, the only weak link in this whole remake, as far as I was concerned,
Laurie Strode.
Roddy McDowall. Let me tell you why.
Roddy McDowall wasn't in this movie.
Let me tell you why. I mean, what was his name? Did I blow that?
Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell, damn it.
Roddy McDowell was in Planet of the Apes. Hey, but you had the McDowell part right. I'll give you points for that.
Okay. Yeah, the McDowell guy. Him,
Malcolm McDowell.
This guy, you obviously cannot replace the original. I mean, that guy had such a voice, a tone, an attitude, everything rolled up.
He conveyed desperation.
Donald Pleasance just killed it, right? And you were so used to that in Loomis. So I was expecting to have a little bit of contempt for this guy doing this role, first of all. Okay? And I didn't originally because I was like, well, he looks a little goofy with the long hair kind of thing going on.
Like I said, Rob Zombie had an agenda to make everyone look as hairy and messed up as he does.
But where he really killed it, and I mean that in the worst way, is where he kind of his desperation seemed forced. His emotions seemed forced. Mm-hmm. It didn't come as nearly as naturally as when Pleasance was doing it.
Pleasance had this sense of urgency and desperation, like, look, I tried and I failed, but, I feel responsible for letting this psycho out, whereas Malcolm McDowell had, I don't want to say he had an air of class around him, but he did have, I'm a successful author now, and I made a lot of money off of this guy by writing this book, and, maybe I've got a sequel coming out.
Yeah.
I do agree Malcolm McDowell was...
He was the weak link. Now, you said Laurie Strode was the weak link.
Yes,
okay?
I did.
I could see how you could say that, but I thought he was so much weaker than she was that I wasn't even going to mention her in the same sentence, okay? That she would probably be, in my book, the second weakest.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a long way down from, McDowell was the worst, in my opinion.
Scout Taylor-Compton as Laurie
What?
Strode. That's her name. Scout Taylor-Compton. That's her name.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, is that like her address? I mean, well, what's going on there, you know?
Look at her. She didn't come from Compton.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, at least they didn't combine names. You know, like the big thing now is like, you know, you take a piece of this word, you take another piece of this word, slap them together, and there's your daughter's name. At least they didn't do that.
Yeah. One of the problems with this film that I had was, okay, the original Halloween, he was not searching for his sister. That was created after Halloween 3 was already finished, done. Michael Myers was dead and burned up in the hospital and everything. They created that because they edited so much from the TV airing. They went back to Carpenter and said, we need a little more footage. So he created this sister thing. And he even has admitted in interviews he regrets doing that.
Yeah.
Well, Rob Zombie made Michael Myers in this movie. He's psycho-killing everybody to get to his sister.
Right.
And he even has a little photograph.
Right.
You know, now
there's nothing wrong with that because in this story, that fits.
Right. Well, it kind of fits, but the problem is he goes after everybody in this film just to get to his sister. And it's like, wait a second, if he's a psychopath and a psycho killer, you can't have him be sympathetic to one person and totally ignore the rules for everybody else. There's rules for certain things and rules for certain things. Psychopaths don't act that way. Either he's a total killing machine or he's a sympathetic machine.
No, I disagree with you. I think that he had a total reason to do that because it was the only person in his life besides his mother who showed him any sympathy or any affection or anything.
What about Danny Trejo?
Okay. Danny Trejo, that character right there, that bothered me from the beginning, okay? I mean, I didn't know whether this guy was gonna gang rape Michael Myers or what the deal was. He seemed way too like, oh, I'm sorry, Mikey. I mean,
yeah, even when Mikey Myers is beating the snot out of him,
it sounds like me talking to you. You know, I'm sorry, Mikey. You know, no, I didn't get into that Trejo character. I did get excited when I saw him on the screen. I said, okay,
that's Danny Trejo.
You know, that's Danny Trejo, another movie, you know, of course, with him in it. But no, man, I didn't get that whole thing, man.
I felt bad. He was the only person nice to him, and he just killed him just because Rob Zombie said, I want to show slaughter on the screen.
Yeah.
Show everybody slaughter on the screen.
I didn't necessarily think that needed to be done like that.
My other problem with this movie is Michael Myers, in the first movie, is a normal guy. He's not Jason Voorhees. He's not a superhuman undead thing. And parts 5, 6, 7, and 8 of Halloween where they made him some supernatural being. That was stupid and retarded, and we're not going to go into that. How long... This person is wrapped up in chains. And I'm just going to bust these chains out and beat the snot out of everybody. It's like, come on, that was totally unrealistic.
Nah, I think you're pushing it. I think you're pushing it.
Okay. Dude, Hulk Hogan couldn't have done it, and he's admitted to taking steroids. Come on.
I think for this character, this is what I loved about this, Mike. This is what I dug. No. This is what I dug about this, is because we went back old school again. We went with the big, physical, imposing character.
Right,
okay?
But he's still a man.
Well, yeah, okay, so he broke a chain. I mean, I've seen guys. Chris Angel could break those chains. Come on, man. You know, I mean, it did not. That didn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, I kind of liked it.
He busted out of that jail way too easy.
Well, those guys were wusses. I mean, come on now.
The guy had handcuffs and chains on him, and the belt.
I did think it was stupid for Mr. McDowell to leave with the mother and leave that nurse in there.
Yes.
With the kid after the kid slaughtered the whole family. You know, that was
I believe
stupid.
That, though. At least I believe that he took out the nurse with a fork. Okay, I can believe
he was hungry. You know, but no. The handcuff thing, I mean, I know where you're coming from, man, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking to be excited and stimulated, and that's what I got.
And then Malcolm McDowell goes to a gun shop, and he's acting all psycho and crazy like he's wired on, 18 energy drinks.
That like
and
you.
I want to buy a 44 Magnum. I want something. And this will stop anything. This is a 44 Magnum. And Malcolm McDowell shooting it like it's a paintball gun.
Yeah.
Come on, a 44 Magnum would have thrown Malcolm McDowell clear across the room.
Well,
and he fired 4 shots.
Didn't throw Dirty Harry across the room. Come on. I mean, what are you talking here, man?
And then, isn't there a thing called a Brady Bill where you have to wait 2 weeks before you're getting a handgun?
Oh, come on.
I thought they were going to do that, so give Malcolm a shotgun.
He pulled the Brady Bill. I mean, come on, Mike. This is Halloween.
Yeah. You can't.
Come on.
That's why he should have given him a shotgun.
No, dude. Where are you going with this stuff, man?
It would have been cool to see Malcolm
I
McDowell
have
with a
lost
high-powered
respect.
shotgun.
You pulled the Brady Bill,
That's
dude.
right.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
What other horror movie have you seen that they bust out the Brady Bill?
Yeah,
okay.
So that's why he should have been given a shotgun, and that would have blown that whole loophole out the
Okay.
door.
All right. Anyway, disregard Mike's Brady Bill rant. I mean, come on now.
Come on. You want realism in the
No,
movie?
that's exactly what I told you I don't want. I don't necessarily want.
But then it would have been hit. You would have been hit with a stupid stick.
No,
And you would have said, "Oh,
absolutely
the stupid
not.
stick is coming
Absolutely not, because Bruce Campbell was not allowed to touch anything in this movie. Okay, absolutely no way would there be a stupid stick. This movie was done right. This movie was done for entertainment purposes. It was done to excite and to stimulate and to be brutal. I mean, this movie was straight up brutal.
Yes, it was very brutal.
And
okay,
not gore for the sake of gore.
I thought there was.
I did not think there was. I thought it was done all very tastefully and in the pocket. What did you think was over the top?
I thought over the top was the focus of the film was supposed to be this killing machine going after these innocent teenagers, right? But none of the teenagers.
What does the innocent teenagers have to do with anything?
None of them were innocent teenagers. They were all. The characterization was out the window.
What I'm saying
I wanted him to kill all of them.
Mike, what I'm saying is,
And
what
Zombie-
gore was there over the top that just was like, oh,
well, okay, maybe not gore, but just the fact that the brutality of the violence.
Okay,
okay,
well, it ain't no worse than Boys in the Hood.
No.
Okay, then. Well, we're talking Halloween here. That's what this movie's about.
But then also, but the thing is, you were supposed to feel. Okay, in the original Halloween movie, you felt sympathy for the Laurie Strode character when she was running and Michael Myers was going after her. You were cheering for her, not for Michael.
Right.
Whereas in this movie, Zombie made Michael Myers the hero of the movie.
Mike, as time has gone on, okay, and maybe the first time you saw that movie, you felt for Laurie Strode, but as time has gone on,
I felt for
I am a full Mike supporter, baby, okay? Get in his way, get mowed down, let me cheer, do the wave, and sit down. That's all I want.
Well, but then the thing is, they with all that backstory, you felt sympathy for the kid. You go, gee, no wonder he turned into this. Look at his upbringing. Look at that, the poor guy.
Absolutely.
When you see Michael Myers, you don't go, gee, what a poor guy.
What's the point? What are you trying to say?
Poor misunderstood guy.
So you're trying to say he should have given more sympathy to the Michael Myers character?
No, should have taken less sympathy for him. In the first movie, you didn't feel for Michael Myers, right?
Okay.
And Laurie Strode was the good girl, so she got away, right?
Right.
Okay, but in this movie, Michael Myers is the sympathetic character. Look at that.
Because of the way the culture has taken him under its wing. This is a product done years later, okay? People dig the Mikey character now. With the first movie, nobody knew who the heck he was.
And that was a good thing.
Well, but
he was supposed to be a normal guy who snapped.
I'm telling you, the marketing behind this movie is the coolness of Michael Myers.
Right.
That's what it is, okay?
Right.
And I don't care if they make a brand new Halloween movie tomorrow. That is going to be the marketing behind it.
Right.
Okay, so my point is, that's not a bad thing.
That's the shift from
I
the
love
old film
it.
to this
I
film.
love
Okay.
it. I love the Mikey character. I thought the new mask was killer. It looked straight up mean.
Okay.
He didn't have to be doing anything.
I
It
got a
looked
question.
mean.
Okay, they show this little 10-year-old brown kid killing everybody in the house.
Yep.
And for some reason, he goes up in the attic. They didn't show him with a crowbar and peel away boards and then nail them back down and put the knife and the mask in there. Gee, 20 years later, I'm going to need this.
Right.
So he had to go back. You see how he had to rip those boards up to get that?
Right.
To
Well,
that mask?
he obviously
And
had
you know what?
carpentry skills that you weren't aware of.
At 8 years old, yeah. And then, okay, I'm sorry. I had a Halloween mask that was rubber with real hair back when I was in elementary school.
Uh-huh.
I went away, lived my life, moved away to college. My parents sold the house 20 years later, and they gave me that smelly, old, falling apart mask.
Uh-huh.
And when I tried to put it on, it crumbled in my hands. 'Cause
Right.
it was rubber, and now it's all
right.
dried out. This mask was fine.
You're
20 years
nitpicking.
later. Yes,
You're
I am.
nitpicking.
Yes, I am.
You're wanting to give this a bad score.
In the original Halloween,
You're wanting to preserve the 5 stars that you gave the original movie. There's no way a zombie movie could possibly live up to that. So you're nitpicking to find the realism that doesn't even need to be there, because I'll tell you what, all those people in that sold out theater last night that I was at, let me tell you something. None of them cared about that mask being old and not crumbling. They cared about him putting that bad boy on and going whooping some ass. That's what they cared about.
So this was basically WWF.
Yeah, you know what? It really was in a sense, but in the other sense, I loved the way it was presented. I thought I think Robbie Zombie did the screenplay to this, right?
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, I thought he took the character and brought it into 2007.
Yeah.
I honestly did. And just to achieve that, just to bring Mikey back, just to bring the crowds back behind him again and remember the nostalgia, of the whole series and kind of bring it into today, man, that's a big thing, and not to screw it up, which I really honestly don't think he did. I really enjoyed it. I was not one iota bored from the time this movie started until the time it ended. I had a fantastic time. The acting was all solid except for McDowell. Sorry, Roddy, not you. And I'll tell you the honest truth. This is a fun 2007, but yet brutal.
It was brutal. It wasn't fun. It was brutal.
No, it was fun for me. And yet a strong R. Do you believe
it was a very hard R?
Do you believe
it was very hard R?
There were security guards at the front of this theater, not at the theater, but the actual movie, the screen that we were in. Okay,
it should have been at mine. Mine was like daddy daycare. There were kids everywhere.
These guys were standing there. If you didn't look 21, they were checking IDs.
Really?
I kid you not.
They should have done it at the theater I saw.
I kid you not. My kids went out to refill something, a cup or whatever. Come back, they got stopped at the door.
Wow.
They had their tickets, right? And they said, "Oh no, where's your dad? Where's your mom?" So I had to go down and rescue them.
Wow.
So which you know what? Honestly, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
This movie is a hard R.
It's a hard R. Don't take your little kids to see this. I took my oldest 2 boys. They loved it. I took 2 of their friends, and one said, "I have to say this. You're gonna love this." One looked at me, turned around, and said, "This is a porno."
It came pretty close.
It had a lot of sex scenes, a lot of nudity, a
lot of skin.
We can't even stop and we can't end this without talking about Danielle Harris coming back.
Yeah,
and dropping her top.
Yeah,
and like being nude half the movie. You can't.
Danielle Harris was a little girl in Halloween 4, and then she was a bigger girl in Halloween 5.
And we didn't even mention Sid Haig.
Yeah, that's another problem I had with this film. I wanted to get into this film, but Rob Zombie is collecting a little cast of a little troupe here, kind of like what Mel Brooks had back. Now look, for comedy that's fine. Oh wait, look, it's Marty Feldman again. Ha 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 ha. But in this film, I wanted to get into the film, but I'm sitting there going, oh wait a second, that's Udo Kier up there.
No.
Oh wait a second, that's Brad Dourif.
No, I'm sorry, I
there.
wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
Udo. No, never mind.
Udo.
But listen.
That's Ronnie Howard's kid.
Sid did dual role.
Sid was
did dual role. He did the cop, and then he did the cemetery guy.
He didn't do the cop.
He did one of the cops, one of the security guards who had Mikey all chained up, walking him through the halls. That was Sid Haig.
Wow.
And he was also the caretaker at the cemetery.
Yeah. And Dee Wallace, it was nice to see her
back,
though.
Cujo. Every time I see her, I think of Cujo.
I think of The Howling.
Yeah, well, you would. But no. That didn't bother me, Mike.
It did bother me. It kept pulling me out of the movie. I wasn't getting into it. Oh, wow, that's it.
That was your wife pulling you out of the movie. No, listen, man. These actors, I don't think Rob would take these guys on tour with him, literally, throughout these movies.
I think he is.
I think he is, but what I'm saying is I don't think he would if they weren't quality stuff. And I'll tell you, Sid Haig, I love him. Okay, I think he's a fantastic actor. Who's the other guy? Bill Moseley was in this, right?
Yeah, Bill Moseley.
He was in this too, and he wasn't quite as recognizable, and just due to the fact that he wasn't all done up in the gray hair and everything,
and the white face paint.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a clown.
Yeah, but
Sherry Moon. Can't have a Rob Zombie film without Sherry Moon in it.
Now that we're talking about this pulling out of the movie, I got to say one thing.
What do you think of Sherry Moon? She actually did pretty good.
Sherry Moon surprised me.
Yeah.
She surprised me.
Yeah.
She did an excellent job. And there wasn't much of this. We didn't have to deal with that,
Yeah,
no baby anywhere close. She did a real respectable job, especially around that pole. She did a real respectable job around that pole. Let me just say, you were talking about pulling you out of the experience. I thought something that added to the experience. This is also something we mentioned in the Devil's Rejects review, specifically about the soundtrack. When the movie first started, God of Thunder just started banging out the system. I marked out, dude. I stood up. I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I knew this movie was going to be full of, 80s music,
Uh-huh.
And Don't Fear the Reaper and Only Women Bleed and, You know, I mean, it was pretty cool, man. Rob, he's got good taste. What can I tell you?
He's got good taste. Okay, I can handle, like, if a car's driving by and you hear something on the radio, okay, making it realistic. But come on, cranking it out on how many speakers are in a movie theater?
Oh, about 42 and a half. I don't know.
Full blast, cranking up, making it the forefront of I'm sorry, it's a truck stop in Illinois.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you hear the synthesizer part of Tom Sawyer by Rush.
Yeah.
Because you know Rush is the preferred band of truck drivers in Illinois everywhere. No, he just did it because he wanted to hear Tom Sawyer on the soundtrack.
Right.
And to me that's like, oh crap.
Right.
And then the couple making out 3 seconds before they're going to be killed off, you hear only women bleed.
Yeah, right.
I'm going, oh
yeah,
Christ, come
but
on.
But I liked the choices.
I
Maybe
didn't.
I Don't Fear the Reaper was. I didn't even have it in there twice.
Twice.
Yeah, in there
It's
twice.
like, oh, come
yeah,
on.
and he probably could have done something else at that particular point. I agree with the point about the rest stop. That could have been something different with Rush. You know, okay, I agree with that. But, you know, these are, again, we're kind of nitpicking it, Mike.
Yes.
We're kind of nitpicking it.
Well, what I'm nitpicking is the director is putting his fingerprints all over the film. That's fine. But what he's doing is pulling me out of the film.
It didn't pull me out. I had a good time with it. I had a good time. Every time something came on that I recognized, I look over at Danny, we just smiled, you know? It was just like, yeah, you know, that's all right. I don't like doubling up, you know, like with the soundtrack thing with the Reaper. I don't like doubling up using it for two different things, you know? We got millions of songs out there he could have used in its place, so. But you know what? The soundtrack was cool. I'd buy it. Unlike the Reanimator CD that you bust out and you play on your
Halloween,
system. Yeah.
Okay, you know, I do like the updated version of the Halloween theme.
Yeah.
Okay, and one thing I did. Okay, this is the thing. The first movie set up a mood, and you know, the best scene in the movie of the original movie for me is when Laurie Strode is in the house and she's running across the street to get to the neighbor's house. You hear the wind rustling through the trees. They feel like, oh my God, he's out there somewhere. The music is building, and the camera is one long shot going across, and you can feel the tension building with each step they take. Right. And the wind and the rustling leaves on the street, and that's one of the best two scenes in the movie. Here, they started to do it, and the mood was building, and I'm going, all right, hold on to it, and bam, he cuts away from it. It's like you're building the mood, and bam, you killed it, Rob. Hold that shot. Let the tension build. Yeah. But you see, Rob wants to do the fast cuts, the loud bangs, and the shaky camera. Look, this movie had a $20 million budget, and Rob Zombie put a lot of his own money into this. He was one of the producers. Dude, invest in a tripod.
Dude, I didn't get that at all. I didn't get that at all.
They're sitting, okay, I can see the handheld camera during the violent parts, but they're sitting at the kitchen table going, you want eggs with breakfast? And the camera is shaking all over the place.
Mike, you know how,
like the Blair Witch Project.
You know how sensitive I am to the shaky camera angle thing, you know, because in movies previous, I've said, man, it made me ill to watch it,
This movie was a roller coaster.
I did not get that from this movie.
I did.
I thought this was a much more subdued kind of thing. Yes, I saw the hand cam
At the
thing going on.
breakfast table, they had the hand cam.
That wasn't bad.
You want eggs with your breakfast?
Yeah,
no,
that
and
wasn't
the camera's
bad.
all blah, blah, blah,
I got to totally disagree with you on that one. We sat fairly close to the screen. This is a THX theater, and they have a huge screen, and it did not affect me one iota.
Oh, I hated it.
It did not affect me at all. I didn't even really notice it until you brought it up. I didn't even think about the shaky camera. Now, movies like freaking, you know, Blair Witch, I get sick. You know, you get physically sick.
To me, this was worse than the Blair Witch.
Oh no, I didn't get that at all. I really didn't.
Buy a tripod next time.
I don't say. Well, you know, it's a frenetic kind of movie, man.
Yeah. See, like I said, I don't mind during the action scenes when there's a lot of footage and a lot of stuff going on, going back and forth. But this is just, you know, want eggs with your breakfast, and the camera's all. Well. That was driving me nuts.
You know, I got to mention one thing. You know the scene in the stall. You know, we were talking about the truck stop.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I gotta say,
with Ken Foray from Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I love that paper mache mask. It wouldn't have bothered me if the original Michael Myers mask didn't come back. Yeah. If he would have used that. Did you see how wicked he looked?
The evil clown.
The
evil jack-o'-lantern.
He looked wicked. I loved that thing. I wish they would have used more of a variety. You know, when they walked into his cell and they saw, you know, 100 masks on the wall of this guy's making paper mache masks. I was like, oh, that one would be cool. Oh, that one would be cool. Oh, let's try, you know. But the one
that would have been actually kind of cool.
That would have been very cool. Yeah, spice it up a little bit.
Okay, he had so much hair in it. How could he fit all that hair up into that Michael Myers mask?
I thought of that.
Shatner
I
mask?
thought of that. I thought of that when we was watching it. There was no hair hanging out the back
None.
whatsoever. Yeah,
None.
you know. Well, he had a Princess Leia bun going on underneath.
He must have.
We know that. I mean, come on. You know. Well, you know, like I said, man, this is a success on a lot of levels. Yes, we could nitpick anything to death.
I didn't think it was a success.
I thought it was a success. I not only did I think it was a success, but I left the theater with a smile on my face. And I'll tell you why. Once again, because I was entertained. It's the three things that I always say. I was entertained. I was never bored. And technically, I thought he did a fantastic job with a project that could have gone so wrong. This could have gone so wrong on so many levels, and he held it up. I think Zombie, in my eyes, has now risen up to the level that I expect him to be at, okay, if he's going to make these type of flicks. House of a Thousand Corpses was a mix mash of a whole bunch of different things, and it didn't work necessarily, okay? I enjoyed it because it was funny, you know, but it was too confusing, I think, for the mass market. Devil's Rejects, he took a step up.
Yes.
It was more cohesive. There was a good story. William freaking Forsythe kicked it out of the park on that one. And I'll tell you what, I enjoyed that one a whole lot more. Now I thought we even went up another level to this one. I thought this one, like I said, with a difficult project. Look at all the people. Think about all the fans, the hardcore fans of Halloween, who are going to look down at Zombie no matter what he did. No matter what he did, because they are remaking, or he's remaking something that's sacred to them, right? And to me, and to you, right? I mean, he's messing with our classic, right? My favorite movie of all time, probably one of your favorites of all time, and you know, he's looking like, well, how am I going to win this?
Why do we think the original was a classic? It can't be the story, because the story is really pedestrian. Psycho guy killing 3 teenage girls.
It's the whole
style. It's what Carpenter had, which wasn't much, and what he did with it. The style.
No, I don't. Whoa.
That's why this movie is so
I'm not
revered.
saying I love it because it was decent on a budget. I'm saying I love the original because you're right, the style, but it's also because everything came together in that movie.
Okay, in the original, when Laurie Strode pokes him in the eye with the wire hanger, all right, and he falls down, and then she's sitting by the door, and over the shoulder you see Michael Myers sit up, and then turn his head almost robotic-like, right? That, or coming out of the shadow behind her in the doorway when you see the face.
That's cool.
Style.
Why didn't we get the Undertaker sit up in this movie?
This movie didn't have style. This movie was just in your face.
Oh, this movie had style.
And loud.
This movie had style. It didn't have the style you liked, but it had style. Okay. Let me say this.
Yeah, the style was loud and in your face.
Let me say this. Why did we not get the Undertaker sit up in this movie? We didn't get it.
No.
And I missed that. I did miss that. I wanted that. You know, when he was laying down after he got shot, I thought, you know what? He's going to raise up. But he was laying on his side.
He was laying on his stomach.
You know, on his
the
side.
Bottom of the swimming pool?
Yeah. And then I thought maybe on the next camera shot, he'd be on his back or roll over or something and then do it. But we never got that. And I honestly thought that was a pivotal piece in the original Halloween. I love that, okay? And yes, I did miss that, okay? But man, how much can he do? I mean, how much can he really? I mean, he paid homage, obviously, to the original movie in so many ways in this flick. You know, it is obviously that he respects the work. He was just.
That was a funny thing. Okay, the couple's in the old abandoned house doing it, right? And you know the ghost scene.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a drink. All of a sudden he walks down. I'm thinking to myself, where the hell's he gonna go? To the refrigerator? It's an abandoned house. There's no power, idiot.
Hey, you know what I liked too? Yeah. When the dude was hanging, right? When he right in the front door, you know, of the house. When the dude was hanging there. You know how I always love the scene where this just the scene you were talking about when he lifts the guy up off his feet and then stabs him into the wall, right? And then he sits there and he looks at him and he tilts his head.
Well, yeah, you know, he's saying, "Oh, John Carpenter did this, so I have to do this."
Well, but he didn't do the Undertaker sit-up, just like I said. No. So that's not necessarily true. But he looked, and then when he came in to the house with the guy hanging there, he kind of did the same thing.
Well, why did he let Danielle Harris, Annie Brackett, she's laying down there. Meanwhile, he puts a pumpkin on the dude's head, strings him up, and has him hanging. Why? She's sitting there on the ground screaming.
He was enjoying the view. It's obvious.
Why? He killed everybody else. Why did he let her live?
He was enjoying the view, dude. It was obvious.
And also, he breaks out of this jail. And he goes to Laurie Strode's house and takes out her mom and dad. How did he know where the heck she lived?
Yeah, well, those folks weren't knowing anyway.
How the heck did he know?
They needed to go, Mike.
And then the boyfriend drives away, and next thing, bam, he pops up in the house where they went to babysit. How did he know what house to babysit?
look, man.
You see, this movie has holes in it.
So the original has holes in it. Every movie has a hole.
The holes in it were they were across the street, and he saw the girlfriend walk across the street.
Every movie has holes in it, Mike. What I'm saying is that any fan, the bottom line is this: any fan of the original movie is going to go see this and have somewhat of a positive experience. Period. It's not, they may be jaded like you, or they may be like taking it a little bit lighter like me. I'll tell you what, if you take it for what it is, you're going to have a blast. It's fun. It brings the character into today.
Treat this movie like a WWF match and you will have fun.
Hey, speaking of that, we brought it up last night. We said, Mike is so big now, because he was played by Taylor Maine, right?
This dude was
now,
huge.
Taylor Maine,
that little short
Taylor Maine is an ex-WCW wrestler. Okay, and he played in X-Men as well. But let me say this now. What would happen if you get Mr. Myers versus Jacob Goodnight? You remember who that is, right?
No.
See No Evil.
Oh, I thought that was Kane. Oh, okay.
Kane, but his name is Jacob Goodnight in the movie, right?
Oh, okay.
So I think we have to have a match. We got to promote this some way, somehow. Michael was massive.
Yeah, well, in this movie, Michael is superhuman. He can take 5 slugs from a .44 Magnum. And
what do you think he did in the first movie of the original movie? They shot him up and lit him off a freaking balcony. He landed down on his spine, and then they looked down 10 seconds later, and he's gone.
Well, he could.
What, did the midgets run out and pick him up and run him into the truck? No! Maybe. He got up and ran off. He was superhuman in that, too, and that's what Zombie was trying to convey in this movie.
I didn't get he was superhuman in the first movie.
Okay. Let me see you do that. Now, let me put you full of slugs.
Okay, but
drop you off after you're stabbed in the freaking eye with a wire hanger. Okay, let me drop you off a second-story balcony on your back. Okay, and then I'm gonna look down 10 seconds later, and you better be freaking gone. Okay, it ain't gonna happen. He was superhuman. You did get that from the first movie, no doubt about it. You can't explain that away, dude. I mean, what other? You're gonna see Kiefer Sutherland fall off, and no, it's not gonna happen. He had that mystique about him from the very first movie. Granted, it didn't necessarily come until late in the movie, like towards the end, but you still got it, no doubt about it. Next.
Come on. When Laurie is in the ceiling and he is bashing up the whole ceiling, he's running around. Yeah. I don't act that way when I have a hangnail, and yet this guy's got 5 shots in him.
Well,
come on. We're talking the super end of the first movie. He gets shot in the shoulder, falls 10 feet.
He doesn't get shot in the shoulder, and it was more than 10 feet. He got lit up by an entire clip, landed from a second-story balcony, which obviously he wasn't like. It was funny. I always watch that scene. I laugh. Because it looks like they got a table or something set up there on the balcony to where the guy could walk straight back. There was no flipping over the rail.
Right, no, he didn't flip over.
He walks right off the air into, onto the grass. So, speaking of style, put that in your pocket. But anyway.
All right, how many stars, Jeff?
Mike, I loved it to death. I thought it was fantastic. You know what? Yes, there was a little bit of cheese. Yes, McDowell wasn't my favorite actor in the thing. Sure, there are a couple holes here and there in Mikey. No, there's a couple holes, period. But I'll tell you what, I'm 5 in it. I loved it. I had a fantastic time. Came out of there with the feeling that the character is back. The character is back. Screw all that stuff with the superhuman, crap. And he's back to what he's supposed to be, a physical monster, We should stick the next movie shouldn't be him meets Kane. It should be Michael Myers meets Predator. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Because this guy's superhuman. I think that he would give Predator or the Alien a run for their money.
You know what? I would watch that.
I'm sure.
I would watch it. You bet.
1 star. I had too many problems.
1 star? Oh, my God. Mike.
I did not like this.
You did not like it?
No.
The only reason you did not like it, though.
The only reason I give you 33 minutes.
I know why you gave it 1 star.
I
know why you give 1 star because what you feel is that it trounced on the original too much.
No, because we're ignoring the original source material. I had no sympathy for any of the girls. I had more sympathy for the character, but they presented it like he's a superhuman, WWF hero. And it's like, wait a second, he's killing all these people. He should not be
serial killer. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I felt like the movie did a twist. They want you to have sympathy for him, but no, wait, you can't have sympathy for him. He's got to be a superhero.
But that's what the crowd wants, Mike.
I'm part of the crowd, and I didn't.
That's what the crowd. Okay. That's what the normal people in the crowd want, Mike. That is what they want. They want. Mike is a hero now, Mike.
Yeah.
You got to get used to that.
All right.
You have to get used to that. This series is so popular that he is now a cult freaking hero.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay. Why is he a cult freaking? Because of the original.
No.
Not because of this.
It's because of the longevity of the series. Yes, it went off on tangents, weird, but there was really not one single movie in that series besides number 3, which had nothing to do with Michael altogether.
Ignore part 3.
But there was really no single movie that you could say that sucked.
I think the original movie had style and a lot of substance, whereas this movie is all surface.
And not only that,
and in 25 years, people are still going to be studying and watching the first film, and everyone's going to forget this film ever existed.
Not only that, Mike. But number 2 picked up exactly where number 1 left off, and I thought that helped the series dramatically. I thought it added continuity to the beginning. When you went to go see the sequel, however long it was later, a year later or whatever after it came out, you felt like, oh, picking right back up from where I left off. You know, to me, that's exciting. I hate it when a sequel comes out, you're starting from a completely different vantage point, and you feel like you got to like worm your way through to get back to the real gut of the story. I thought that helped it tremendously, and I thought it made it stick more in the minds of some people. You know what I'm saying? The Michael Myers character, to be honest with you, it's untouchable as far as I'm concerned. He's always been my favorite. He's always been the number 1 serial killer / whatever you want to call him, WWE superstar, whatever. He's always been number 1. He's got style. He's the physical presence. It's the whole ball of wax, Mike.
But his style was a complete lack of style. He was a blank slate. That's why they chose that mask.
But that's what it was in this movie too, Mike. That's what it was in this movie. Mikey himself did not have any style. He was a brutal machine.
Brutal. There's this.
Brutal.
That's
No, he was a brutal machine in the original movie, Mike. There's no difference. It's the same thing. It's just amped up because if you were to if Zombie was to go and release something tepid, that more mimicked the original movie, he'd fail. He would fail.
I give him the
point.
point.
And people would go, oh, well, Mikey's supposed to be stronger than that. And then he'd be like, oh, well, you're sorry. What do you want? Do you want me to go across the original? Or do you want me to do what I did?
That's why I gave him the star for that, because at least he attempted something different. It wasn't a straight in-your-face, shot-by-shot remake like Gus Van Sant doing Psycho.
Right,
so I give Zombie points for that.
Yeah.
He tried something different.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it.
Okay.
But at least he tried something different.
He did something different, but it had its roots.
And he did stick his style on it.
Absolutely. And I'm really enjoying what he's doing now, and I'm kind of anxious to see what the next thing is for him, We kind of thought, because, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but because of the way certain things wrapped up in this movie, we were kind of thinking it could go either way. If he decided to continue this and move on with some other kind of continuation of this story, it could be cool.
Oh, I had a problem too. At the very end of the movie, when it ends really abruptly, okay, this movie gives us total darkness practically for the last 20 minutes of the film, and all of a sudden, bam, he shows a big full-screen shot of a negative of trees, white sky, and everybody in the theater went, oh, because it was blinding.
Good. Wake up, suckers.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, to wake up everyone who fell asleep.
No, it's like, this movie, how could you fall asleep in this movie, Mike? How could you possibly fall asleep in this movie?
No,
you were the one complaining about the Big Bang Booms.
I did not fall asleep.
I mean,
in this movie. It was very loud. Very loud.
You know what? It depends on what side of the fence you're going to land on, or that you're on, basically, as to where you're going to land with this movie. I'm giving it the full 5. He's giving it the 1. The truth may be in the 3 to 4 range. Who knows? Yep. But the honest truth is that I'm such a mark for this character. Number 1, and number 2, I was so excited that this thing did not blow up in Zombie's face.
Yes, it could have turned into.
It could have gone so ugly.
It could have been
wrong.
Like Halloween Part 7.
Absolutely, it could have been. It could have been terrible,
yes,
and it wasn't. And I, like I said, I left the theater with a smile on my face.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't walk out of the film going, eh. That's probably, I think, a big selling point in this film. You won't go, eh.
Yeah, you're gonna like it, or
that's a failure of a director.
Yeah, you're gonna like it, or you're gonna hate it. Probably. I think more people are digging it. The buzz on the internet is overwhelmingly positive right now. I will say that. I read review after review this morning. There was a couple of people that said,
only 15% on the critics on Rotten Tomatoes liked it.
Well, look at the name of their site and tell me you're going to listen to this.
Yes, they want to throw Rotten Tomatoes at
Tomatoes. Give me a break.
Yes, that is a website of all the critics.
Let me just say this. I went to the real people in the news groups, the people that actually watch these movies and enjoy these movies, and instead of the critics who've got a thumb in their... Anyway, But what I said was that what I read was the honest truth. Most people are digging this.
Okay, the fans
fans are digging
it.
What they're not digging so much, I think, is the way it ended. There are certain things that in the ending that.
Well, this movie had to go back and do a lot of reshoots.
Yeah,
I mean, they even cut out the rape scene in the mental
That's
hospital.
Right. That's right.
They had to up the body count. They had to up the blood count.
Yeah. But what they're saying is that we were entertained, we were howling, screaming, partying, having a good time, and that's what this is about. This is not War and Peace. This is not some Clint Eastwood melodrama. This is freaking Halloween. Yeah. And when you go to freaking Halloween, you want this dude tearing stuff up, and that's what we got, Mike, in spades. The character's back, dude, and we can go forward from here.
All right, I'm Michael Manny. He's Rowdy Jeff. Hope you enjoyed this extra long edition of the Horror Debate.
Extra long fighting debate.
We'll talk to you next week with a much shorter edition of the Horror Debate.